From London to Lake Worth and all points in between, you are tuned in to the Ask Coach Judy show with your host, Judy Romanoff, founder of the National Single Parent Resource Center. With over 28 years of experience of helping executives and individuals to achieve their maximum success, the Ask Coach Judy show is a pay-it-forward show designed to empower one with knowledge for achieving professional and personal success by bringing all types of experts in their related fields. Here is Coach Judy.
Go live.
Welcome to the Coach Judy Live Talk Show, a talk show that's about getting the facts so you can achieve your personal and professional success in life, whatever it may be. And by getting the facts here with the Ask Coach Judy Live show, we will be able to help you guide you to achieve the successes that you're looking for. And again, whether it's personal or professional, we are going to be talking about and bringing guests on from all different subject matters, from all different aspects, so we can give you the path and lead you to the success that you are looking for. And I'm really excited about doing the show today because it's something I've been wanting to do as we are for, I'd say, almost 8 or 9 months from the last time I did the show. I also want our listeners to know that you are very important. Without you, the listener, we would not have a show. So what I'm going to ask you to do is go to our website, www.coachjudy.info. Click on contact or message us and put in your first name, your phone number, and your email address. And if you're wondering why, it's because we want to be able to contact you if you are a winner or receive the opportunity to save money, be part of the raffles, or whatever else we'll be doing as we go on, because we also are hoping to have events. But if we don't know who our listeners are, we can't reach you. So I'm asking you to please go to www.coachjudy.info, click on Messenger or Contact, put the information I said about your name, your first name, unless you want the whole name, your location, as well as your email address. In addition, after you do that, click on to listen to the show and become a follower, because when you become a follower, you also get benefits. As a matter of fact, if you click on follower, you will receive a notification to remind you the Ask Coach Judy live show is going to be on soon, and we air at 3 o'clock on Wednesdays afternoon. And also, because of the relationships and what modern society has with the internet and the platforms, you can go to YouTube, look up Coach Judy, then click on the video, and you'll be able to watch the show that we're doing today that you cannot see at the same time we're doing it live, which is our goal. But as you know, when you start a new show, there's always technical issues that come up. So that is why we're doing the show today. And again, I'm really excited about introducing my guest in just a moment. I also would like to add and let you know who I am, because many of you in the last 10 years don't know me, like those who did from the 90s and the 2000s, when I got involved in 1990 in helping empower single parent moms and dads who didn't have custody, that led into creating the award-winning organization, National Single Parent Resource Center. But that's not all. I've moved on, and I have become and taken the skills that I learned and the offer to single parents who are dealing with family court or working in the best interest of the children. And I am offering you all the other skills that the single parents received, but without single parenting or family court, unless you may need us, we'll add that. So I'm here for you to change, to empower, and to help you really achieve your life, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, or whatever else that comes in. In addition, I would very much like to hear from you the topics that are important to you so we can bring on guests, find advertisers and sponsors so we can bring on the topics and the people that you want to see. So again, I refer you back to messaging me through the website at coachjudy.info and let me know, because we want this show to be what you want it to be and be the vehicle for you to receive the kind of information that will help you to get the facts so that you can act and in turn achieve success. And just to give you an idea of the shows that I've done, because my talk show host began in 2002, is if you know Apple and you've heard of Steve Jobs, well, he was on our show. Another example is that if you knew or heard the movie or watched the movie, he's just not into you. Well, guess what? They were on our show while they were in the negotiations of producing the movie, and soon to be back on again. If you've ever read the book, A Boy Called It by Dave Peltzer, who has been honored and recognized by 4 U.S. presidents, carried the torch in the '96 Olympics in New York, served in the armed services. He will be coming back on our show October 16th, and he is going to be sharing some dynamite information so that you can move past and you can achieve, regardless if you've dealt with abuse or anything else in your life. He will give you great tips of information how to let go and build yourself the life you want and not let the negatives of your life keep you from reaching your success. Because if you hold on to all these angers and the bad things in your life, guess what? You're going to be an angry person. And if you're an angry person, who wants to be with you? So I'm really excited to bring Dave Peltzer back on the show October 16th. And now I'm going to share with you a brief story that leads into our guest. Several years ago, many of us were doing extremely well. But then the economy changed and we found our lives were changing. Well, yours truly faced the same thing, but I was determined to keep the National Single Parent Resource Center alive. And I found myself, where am I going to go? Because the place I was staying wasn't going to be possible to continue staying there. So I called my friend Christine and I told her my situation. Of course, it was supposed to be for a few days because I was going to be getting an apartment with somebody else. I called Christine, she called me back, and she saved me by helping me to find a great place to live until I moved on to the next part of my life. So I want to first say thank you, Christine Catoggio, for what you did for me and coming on our show today, which is a test show with a little confusion early on. So it's great to have you. And to let people know who you are, I want to say that you are a midlife, let me get on the sheet, midlife redesigner. You're a mentor, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're an author, and you have a lot of great information to provide that you are also doing for women. And it stuck out in my mind because the term arise was in it. And for anybody who knows about the phoenix bird, it is the phoenix bird arising. And back in 1999 at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., I was honored with the Phoenix Award. And at the time, I didn't realize everybody knows what the Phoenix Bird is about. And here I am explaining. So every time I hear Christine and I hear her program, that's the first thing I remember. Everybody knows except me. But anyway, Christine Catoggio, I want to welcome you. I apologize for the length it took to get everything in together, but I'd like everybody to kind of know at the very beginning who we are, what we're doing, and who we're catering to, which is our listeners, so they have the right information And you're an example of the kind of information you can give our listeners so they can move on. So please introduce yourself further and share with our listening audience what you want them to know about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Judy, and thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure to be able to help you through that circumstance. And I think a big part of what made it easy somewhat to do that for you is at the time I had my women's community, Women of Rise. And RISE is an acronym for Reclaim Inner Soul Energy. And basically, as it evolved, it was a divine download. I wasn't even sure what it meant when it first came to me. But as it evolved, I realized it was, for women, predominantly, for women to be able to pull themselves up from whatever they have been through in their life, to create the best version of themselves and to reclaim their soul energy, be strong again, take their power back. And so that was what I was trying to build in the Women of Rise community. And so
one minute, okay? It's like, what do you mean lost their energy? For our listeners who've always had life easy pretty much, I don't think they really understand what it is to really struggle for survival.
Well, life happens to all of us, as you said before, and things happen unexpectedly. Sometimes we're blindsided by events in our life. But, I had things happen in my life as well. And when we have those experiences or some trauma or something that's happened at any stage of our life, we lose a part of ourselves. We lose our confidence. We lose our mojo. We lose our sense of self-worth. And so trying to get that back after we've been through some kind of experience is really, we really do need to learn to rise again. We really are Phoenix women. As a matter of fact, that was the logo for the Women of Rise community, was the Phoenix.
So, because I have to tell you, people don't realize is that when you go through these things and you keep your mind healthy at the very best that you can, you also find yourself of being just almost like you're just there. You're just going through the motions, what you know you have to do, but you're not really feeling it.
Exactly. And I think that's what happens for most of us is we actually shut down. We shut down our emotions. We're just processing whatever it is we're going through all the stages of whether it be loss of a spouse or loss of a child or a career loss or any type of transition, even empty nest. People don't realize even empty nesting is a huge transition in someone's life. And it could be devastating to a woman who has used her whole life to raise a family and not really take care of herself. And that happens with most of us. We're so busy taking care of everyone else that we don't take care of ourselves until we actually have to. And
that is so true. And people don't realize, when people say, well, I've got to take care of my kids, I got to take care of my husband, or I have to work and I got to get the money and I got to run here. How do you expect me to be able to do anything else?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so we have to relearn how to do that. And there's a whole process, and I have a number of programs to help women do that. But that's really what the Rise is about. It's reclaiming our soul energy, our own life force energy, because we give that away to so many other people. So we need to regain our life force so that we can move on. And there's strategies to it, but we all seem to go through that at some stage of our life. I deal with women every day, and very few of us, especially it seems lately, it seems more and more prominent, that we all have something that changes our perception of who we are, how we fit into the world, what our next steps are. That's where the redesign comes from, because we reach that stage in our life where something needs to change. Things aren't what they used to be. We don't fit in anymore. We don't feel right in our bodies or even mentally and emotionally. And so we really need to figure out what are the next steps for our life. So that's where the Midlife Redesign Mentor comes in.
Well, that That's great. Now, because I know it was becoming a senior myself and seeing how becoming a senior is not what you really expect it to be unless you are always and have been an athlete and always swimming and running. And when you're more of a, sit on the couch type of life, when you get older, it's harder. So can you give some of our listeners a couple tips that they can take away that will help them and then reach out to you if they feel they need something more?
Definitely, definitely. Well, number one, I always say we need to start taking care of ourselves. We need to, actually, someone just recently told me, especially as a single woman, we need to date ourselves. We neglect the things that we enjoy doing. We neglect sometimes we don't take care of our hair or our nails or our bodies, or like you said, we don't exercise or eat right. And we really neglect the things that will help us start to feel better about ourselves. And so self-care and self-love is really the first step to accomplishing any progress in our life, to making any move forward or getting out of any funk that we might be in. We really need to start learning to love ourselves again and take care of ourselves again. So that's number one. The second thing I always talk about with my clients is have a vision for your life. So many of us are so busy and we live the day to day. We work all day, we come home, we have dinner, we watch a little TV, get ready for bed, and then wake up in the morning and start all over again. And we really don't bring any enjoyment into our life. And we don't think about what it is that we really want for ourselves. And I can tell you from working with women, there are many women, and I'd say the biggest percentage of women, who really don't know what it is they want because we haven't really allowed ourselves to think about what we want. There again, because we were so busy satisfying everyone else. So
I guess tell you, you said a very good point. Two things. I think that's why we are so well connected, is that if we can't learn through the techniques that you and I offer to learn and value who we are and love ourselves, really love ourselves, and work from the heart and live from the heart, that life is going to be much more difficult. But if you operate from a place of love, care, respect, whether it's the workplace, whether it's with a relationship, your children, or just even with yourself, if you can't have love and really feel that for yourself, I say you're prone to be a victim.
And you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And it's that victim mentality that keeps us stuck. It keeps us, well, we see it all the time. We see the angry people. They're the ones behind us online in Publix, getting frustrated, or on the road driving the way they do. There's a lot of angry people out there, and that's because they have something that needs to be healed. And so that's why it's so important for us to really figure out who we are and what it is we really want for our life. And once we can have a picture of what it is we want for our life, then we can start putting together, I always say, the yellow brick road, our own yellow brick road towards the Oz that we want. And we start the action steps and start putting the steps in place. And even if it is baby steps, every little step we take towards what it is we truly want for our life, that's how much closer we'll get there.
Would you say, because I know I do it for myself and I tell other people, because when you paint this picture to them, it can be so overwhelming that I tell people, just take one little step, even if it's just getting up and doing your hair that you didn't do before. You are making that step, and it will take time, but it will grow because you'll be gradually feeling like taking more steps. And before you realize it, every 3 weeks, it could be a month, whatever it may be, there you are, so far ahead of the game, even though it's a long way to go, but you really have made it. So it's like, just remember, one little step, even if it's a mind thought change, you are on your way to achieving the success you want. Would you agree?
Oh, totally, totally agree. As a matter of fact, there's a quote. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something like, you don't need to climb the whole staircase, just do the first step. So, because if you do that every day, I refer often to and a lot of people have heard the story about the horse that fell in the well, and the farmers couldn't get the horse out, so they started putting the dirt on top of it to bury it. And the horse started climbing onto the dirt, and then eventually the horse was, at the top of the hole. And if you think about us in our own way, if we just, climb on top of that pile of dirt every day, stay on top of whatever it is that's going on in your life, take charge of it. And especially working with women, we lose our sense of power. We usually sacrifice it for a relationship or a spouse or whatever the case may be. And I always tell people, take your power back. There's something so energizing. There's something that really ignites you when you feel like you have control of your circumstance. So even if it is just a simple little thing every day, making a phone call about, why the bill is late or whatever the case may be, take control of it. Don't allow the fear to set you back.
And that is so true, because I'm going to share a little bit, because as you know, I create a career by sharing my life, because that's what thrusted me into doing, because I had learned so much and had to give it back. But I know a few years ago, I had somebody come over and was demanding to see me. And I could see the rage and the anger in his face, but I had to go out. I even took my dogs, and the gentleman was saying, leave your dogs in the house. I said, no, the dogs are coming with me. And then we go out. And then he starts saying, and I'm going to shock you, but it's true. It's documented with the police report, because that was part of not being a victim, is that it was, I kill, I could do something to your dogs, and on and on and on. And then even grab documents that I wanted to show him. But although I was victimized in the moment, because somebody is violating you, right. But by calling the police and acting on it, no longer was I their victim, because I took control and I took my power back, and there was nothing that he could do about it, because I was in the right path. Of course, I was also in the right for what was going on to begin with, and he had no idea that what I knew, because it was interesting. Here's this man, he's a little taller than me, maybe 5'6". He says to me, and I have to share it because it's unbelievable, because it's somebody who thinks he's got real power. Besides shaking his hand in front of my face and saying to him, and not thinking of anything else, get your hand out of my face. And then he said to me, you don't know who I am. So, and this is what I'm going to show it as an example. Instead of retaliating and say, well, you don't know who I really am. So what you're saying means nothing to me, because you don't really know who I am, and you don't want to tangle with me, because I know the right people through my work to call when things are necessary. So I didn't say it, but I was not his victim. And I then really handled it. And he was the one that actually, and someone else, got in trouble by lying in documentations to an agency.
Wow.
But stepping back is that if I felt like a victim, if I felt I didn't have control to stand up for myself and use my wits the way a healthy person, the right way to do, the outcome could have been so different. And the reason I share that is I want people to understand the difference between being a victim and not being a victim and taking action. Because I feel, and maybe you disagree, maybe some others don't, but I believe if something's been done to you, you take action that's the proper action, not the attack, the retaliation, or anything else, but you take the action to protect yourself. You're not a victim anymore. You are a proactive activist for yourself.
Exactly. And that's really what taking your power back is all about. It's because when you feel that you have control of yourself, then you don't necessarily react to what the other person is doing because you're in control. So if you're in control of you, you're not lashing out. You're really thinking about what is the right thing that you need to do for you. And so that's it really does change the whole dynamic.
It really does, and it changes your mental health. It can help keep you out of having to see psychologists or really having a real mental illness, because these things are almost predisposed you to end up erupting a mental illness that you didn't know about because it came from that situation. And I say that don't let that happen to you. I refuse to allow it. And I know when I was going through something back in the 90s, I said to myself, there's one thing I'm going to make sure of. I'm going to learn and keep a very healthy mental well-being, because nobody can take that away from me. And that's going to be my asset. And it has worked through all the different challenges that I've gone through in work, in my personal life, wherever. That has already been there, and people will say, and I'm sure you've had the same thing, and I have to say, I didn't hear too many positive things from this person who happened to be my mother, but she said to me, she said, you're the most positive person I have ever known. And I was like, huh? She just like, she got it, she didn't realize. It really does. People do take notice.
Yeah, they do. Definitely.
All right. So how can us, because I think we've hit the time, what one last tip would you like to give our audience? And then how can they reach you if they want to reach out to you?
One last tip. I think probably, everything we've already touched on, but I think it's really about know who you are. Know what your values and your priorities are, and that's really sets a direction for how you live your life. So it's just understanding who you are and what makes you tick, and understand what's really important to you. I used to say when my kids were teenagers, you need to pick your battles, otherwise you're always fighting. So know where your priorities are and what are the important things that you really need to stand for, the non-negotiables in your life.
That's great. And that leads me into my other area is knowing your boundaries and what you're going to take, because you and I, having been single parents, we know how difficult and how manipulative our children are.
That's another conversation.
So from what we discussed and sharing, I'm sitting here and thinking, what tip do I want to give to single parents who are listening, or those who are not but know and want to share something with them? I call it Coach Judy's practical tip to divorce and single parenting. And that is to focus on what the issue is. Do not yell at the person or the child and attack them and call them, you're crazy, you're sloppy, you're dirty, all the negatives that you're seeing, but really address the issue that they're doing and not them as a person. But focus on the issue and understand that they're acting out for a reason. And then as a single parent, when they calm down, I always suggest talk to them and say, I'd like to talk to you. I want to understand what's happening, because what you're doing, you're taking what Christine and I have said, and you're actually instilling it in your child to feel free that they can talk to you when they've calmed down, and it doesn't have to escalate or deepen the wound that they face as a child of single parent families.
That's true.
So thank you, Christine, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
I do want to let our listeners know we are looking for advertisers and sponsors, because we want to bring all types of people onto the show so that we can bring everyday people who have a special story that they want to be shared because they think it will make a difference for someone else. And we want to bring on our national and international guests that there are in the country and the world to be able to share with you what they need to tell you so that, again, you can keep growing with the Ask Coach Judy live show. So we are looking for sponsors and advertisers, and I will tell you this. All proceeds that come from the advertising, that come from any sales that we have, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to be having a divorce training kit for single parents they can purchase, that all of these proceeds will go to the National Single Parent Resource Center because they need help and they need funds in order to do other programs and bring new people in to the organization. So just remember that when you become a sponsor and advertiser, you're doing something to change the lives of families and people you may know and people you don't know. And what a good feeling it is. And the other thing I want to bring out real quick is that don't just put your name of your company on the show or have you on for a short time. We do print marketing for you. And depending upon what your budget is, we have it for low budgets to high budgets. Call us at 561-441-8557. Or again, go to our website at www.coachjudy.info and let us know that you want to become an advertiser, you want to become a sponsor of a show that's empowering and helping people to achieve their success, whether it's in business, you're having a business problem with an employee, or you want to take it to a different level and you need motivation and help from a business standpoint. We will be bringing guests like that on the show. So just remember, your funds to bring the show will be changing the lives of our audience, the lives of families, of single parent families. And I thank you for taking the time to listen and pay attention. And again, keep coming back and make sure you become a follower so we can notify you when the show is starting and put you in for our raffles and inviting you to events, the various things we will do as our show grows. Ask Coach Judy Live. Thank you. Have a super positive, beautiful week and enjoy all the positive things that you can find in your life. Thank you so much.